Hi, we're back again. This is the new Rayid program, part two. In the part two function, we will be doing mostly an explanation of the postures. Now, those postures, they are mirrored reflection of all of the major iris constitutions, jewel, flower, shaker, and stream. So you'll have postures that are primarily in each one of these four positions, but it's primarily a kinesthetic experience. And the reason for this is that we want to, as much as possible, bring the language of our feelings and mind into the body. The language of feelings being primarily the language of the soul, the language of the mind being a vibrational mental influence as it impacts the physicality of the body itself. The goal is to bring the physical body into alignment with universal force. Now, the reason I'm calling it force is that you have, in science, you have four different forces in nature. You have gravity, you have force, you have electro and magnetic. We use electro as a joule function, and we use magnetic as a flower function. We use force or dark matter as a shaker principle, and we use the kinesthetic as a gravity principle. In this, we're combining all four of these different Rayid constitutions into a sequence of postures. This is designed to produce an alignment through your spinal column, through the top of your head, into the direction of the North Star, which is the reference point for how our Earth is tilted in a specific direction. And we'll describe this more thoroughly, that it's 22.5 degrees. And if you did 22.5 degrees forward and 22.5 degrees in both directions, you end up with a specific 45-degree downward alignment. And we take that alignment of this upper posture down all the way through the physical body to the bottom of the pelvic cavity to the coccyx. That's the upward blue triangle. That's the first posture. We'll come back and detail it again more thoroughly because each one of these postures will have also composite feelings that you would ideally be practicing different feelings in each posture. The second posture will come down, and we'll describe that. We'll come down to, with that 45-degree blue triangle, come down to the region of the heart, and we'll encompass that area. And then the third posture actually produces the other triangle and goes down at 45 degrees. The bottom triangle, as you can see in the picture, will have a definitive bottom line across it. So it's an equilateral triangle. It's the equal size on all sides. It is it's the three-dimensional shape of a. The upward one has no upper boundary. It is a infinite receptivity to the capacity to align our body and spinal cord to the experience of being able to receive or intentionally put our body into alignment with divine intelligence and divine order. So that's the basic understanding of these four postures. They have lots of information to come with it about these four different postures, but this is designed to give you an overview of what is required by your participation in the program. And I say required if you're going to be in the program itself. I'm really asking you to use your own conscience. Are you actually willing to go through these four different postures on a periodic basis, ideally once every 2 hours or no more than once every 4 hours, to be willing to just take 10, 15 seconds, go through this, feel it, come down, second posture, third posture, and fourth posture. We'll describe them for you. And you basically go about your day. While doing that, you're going to be involved, and the most important part of it is you're going to be involved in a knowing group of other people in the world who, at their own rhythm and their own timing of when they're awake and when they're not, they're going to be doing that with you and for you as well. Because part of this group dynamic program is the whole group is doing it for each other as well as themselves. This is primarily done for the benefit of other people. You will be definitely a recipient of that, but your desire to simultaneously express your feeling, your unity, your sharing, your desire to give and receive with 25 other people over a period of months. Ideally, 9 months would be the minimum time for us to do this. So I'd like you to consider the parameters of doing this program before you get involved. Now, the other part of the program is we'll come back and we'll describe the basic importance of why it's realistic to have cycles and seasons involved in this. Let me show you just a couple examples of what cycles and seasons looks like. Here is a basic example of cycles and seasons. Now, these are 3 different seasons of the year: winter and spring and summer and fall. This is a cycle of the 4 seasons. The ideal minimum for being able to do this is to do a series of postures together as a group for a minimum of 3 of these seasons. So 9 months. The cycles and seasons ingredient is that we take our activity and we merge it with the rhythm and the effectiveness of time. If we engage in the cycles and seasons, the natural forces available in cycles and seasons will interface with our intentions and our activities, because we're intentionally linking our activities into the rhythms of time and the seasons. There is a natural divine order, a natural divine intelligence in the cycles and seasons. So we will provide for you the opportunity to see each one of these seasons. We'll have a journal, we'll have information. So just the reality of how the cycles and seasons work. This also is related to the cycles and seasons throughout a single day. Let me show you another graphic. This is a simple graphic basically describing the color influences of each time of the day. There are the ascending colors and there are the descending colors. There's the daytime colors and then there is the nighttime colors. There's a cycle and rhythm. If I continue to do the postures on a regular basis, ideally about every 2 hours, I go through 15 seconds of doing the postures. I'm actually inserting them in each one of these time slots. To do that over a period of time, the memory picks it up as a desire to be continued. So if I have a continuous desire over a period of days, it lasts longer. If I continue doing this for a 3-month cycle, it becomes picked up by my interior mechanisms and is automatically begun to be remembered for me. If I continue doing the postures, which is an alignment to the center of the universe, over a period of 9 months, I keep doing this, it's now locked in for me and I don't really need to do it anymore because it's now part of my long-term memory. Each additional time I go back in to do it would only keep increasing it. So that's why it's useful to have it cycling through the day, cycling through the month, cycling it through the season, and then through 3 seasons. That's how cycles and seasons merges with the postures. I'll explain all of this. If you have any questions, we'll go through it thoroughly and to be able to take it one at a time. The third component of this, just to give you a reminder, I might just come get another one. This is a graphic of the protocol. The protocol takes three primary parts. It takes the central experience of building desire, using the element of free will, long-term memory, short-term memory, how to be able to handle each incoming influence of the law of attraction. And we'll go back over cycles and seasons, but that's already been recorded for you. You can make reference to it from the past recordings, or if you're not sure about any part of it, ask me again. Why is protocol so important? Well, when you intentionally want to grow and you intentionally want to share and you want to send that sharing out over a global level with specific people, and you want to exchange that with other people to bring inspiration to the world, to bring inspiration and emotional support to each other, that has a profound impact. The result of that is your own energy, your own life force will begin to increase. The moment it starts to increase, and I mean the very moment you start to make a choice toward wanting to increase your consciousness, increase your capacity to feel, there'll automatically come an exact sequence unique to you of exactly what you need to feel next in order to be able to continue the process of expansion. So what that means is law of attraction events in very subtle ways and very large ways will come to you. And if you're engaged in receiving them with a thankfulness of receiving, not about blaming or attacking, and you start to receive them, I'm going to suggest that you receive them back to you at the same arc of 22.5 degrees, that you literally learn how to circulate the receiving of a law of attraction event. And that's basically how the protocol works. So protocol is your primary way to operate continuously, no matter what's going on in your environment. I would suggest that you learn how to feel and continuously circulate, no matter where you are, no matter who you're with, whether you're alone or you're with a group, whether you're eating or you're by yourself in some capacity, you keep learning to use the protocol. Protocol combined with cycles and seasons, combined with postures. It sounds like a lot, and it is. It's just a process of learning each one of the individual components and then being willing to experiment or apply that yourself. Now, this first group of people, I'm inviting the most experienced people I know who've been around the Rayid program for a long time, and I'm allowing a few people to enter into this group who want to participate with this. Whether or not I know you doesn't matter. I'd like to get to know you. That's the whole process of cycles and seasons combined with the postures, is I want to be able to take the time to get to feel you, relate to you, at least emotionally from a distance. That doesn't mean that we have to become the best friends in the world or that we email each other every day or whatever. It's just that we're learning to acknowledge and feel each other's existence as actual living people, brothers and sisters, regardless of your age or race or economic class or country or language. We're learning how to be able to feel each other, and we're doing it for each other throughout the day. That's how the program works. Now, coming back to the postures, let me take you one at a time through the 4 basic postures, just so you can begin to get a feeling with it, and so you can practice it on your own. Let me show you the 4 postures together. Here are the basic 4 postures I'm suggesting that you experience and become more familiar with. They're very simple, they're not difficult, they're not strenuous. It's not meant to be an actual exercise where you need to do something aerobically or otherwise. It's an uplifted hand posture that I will describe individually the importance of and the purpose of how they work and what angle that they are. I'll explain each part of it, There is the uplifted part, but that also encompasses bringing down into the second posture, and that's basically acknowledging the movement of this as it is merging with your own heart, your heart center. This will take into account three different brains. It'll take into account the head brain, the chest brain, the belly brain. This triangle that comes down extends, you hold that one for a moment, and then you go into the third posture, which is a 45-degree angle posture. It's called posture number 3, and the arms are straight down at 45 degrees. We'll describe the differences in the hands and the fingers, and then we'll describe the existence of what to do with the feet. On the fourth of these postures, from the 45, it comes back up into a position that looks like this. And again, we will describe this posture individually. I just wanted you to get the general feeling of posture 1, posture 2, posture 3, 45 degrees, posture 4, coming back, and it's an energy from below and an energy from above circulating and focusing right in the area of the heart. These are the 4 basic postures. Now let me take you into each one of these postures and describe a bit more of what they're about, including why it's so significant that there are a series of measurements inside this that you'll get familiar with. And as you start to measure and move around your arms, for example, you'll notice different feelings if you shift your hands forward or back or sideways, you lift your elbows or you open the arms. You'll notice a whole different plethora of different kinds of feelings. There's many different feelings that are possible. I'm suggesting for now that your intention B is to align with a specific angle, and that posture will relate to the experiences that of what we're wanting to be able to unify with as we bring this inspiration into our own selves, and we share that with each other, and we share that with the greater world. So let's just look at posture number 1 more specifically. So this is posture number 1. It's basically an uplifted feeling, and in each one of these positions, there is a significant shift in the feeling. And you can have many different experiences here, and you can use it in many different ways. You're completely liberated in how you experience it. But this posture number 1 is a lot like the feeling of catching a large ball, or it's very much about the process of receiving. So that receiving has many different qualities to it, such it can be a receptivity, it can be an allowing, it can be an acceptance. My preference for now has been a gratitude or a thankfulness. And occasionally there's an experience of a feeling which is also outbound, maybe like a joy. There can be a reverence. You can, in this position, use any element of your personal faith that you would like. If you have some personal way that you see your appreciation and gratitude of the divine, you have a particular religion that you practice in that way, please use your own faith in this position. It's a divine alignment put into the body through the beginning of this first posture. Now, in this posture, there are some technical reasons why we have this posture. And these arms are going to be lifted up at a particular angle. Let me show you another part of this angle. And in this picture, you look at the blue line. That is the blue line that is ultimately aligned with your spinal cord, your spinal column. The head is slightly tilted upward. You see the arms have a particular angle as they go up. You'll see that there's an angle in a side view of the arms. You see rather than being straight, the arms have an angle that goes up. Every part of this has an angle, and you can examine that when it looks to the hands. If you look very closely at the hands will have a particular angle from the wrist, and each of the fingers, the knuckles, will have an angle. It turns out to be that they're quite relaxed. There's a 45 in here. This is a very soft but very precise kind of a series of angles. Now, the reason that these angles exist is that the polar axis of the Earth is tilted consistently and does not change. It's pointed toward the North Star. This experience of pointing almost directly to the North Star is an alignment of the Earth, pointing our gravitational experience as we circle around the sun. It's always pointed in the same direction. So where we are in the sun creates cycles and seasons, but there is a consistency where our axis is always pointed at 22.5 degrees. So if you take that 22.5 degrees forward, you have an angle in the hands at 22.5 degrees. If you take 22.5 degrees to the right, to the left, and the back, you end up with 22.5 and 22.5. So it's pretty much of a cone. What you see as a triangle in the image is very much like an energetic cone. This energetic cone has a lot to do with the delivery system from the divine down to the individual. Yes, you can call this Holy Spirit if you want. You can call this energy. You can call this universal consciousness. You can call it just a posture and experience that much. However you want to do it in this posture is really up to you. When you get a feeling for those angles and you start to change your hands slightly, you will feel differences. In the same way that you have mudras and you have body postures in yoga, you can change your posture, you can change your hands or fingers, and you will change the energy that's coming down through you. So we're going to start out with just this basic 22.5 degrees and 45 total, and creating somewhat of a feeling there. Now, the feeling for me, which you can have your choice of feelings, is quite relaxed. This is effortless to be there. After you get the general idea of it, you can be there 5 seconds, 10 seconds, you can go longer. You can go as long as you feel comfortable, and then slowly bringing the hands down to and tracing the outside line of the triangle down to the heart area. And let me show you posture number 2. Posture number 2 comes down and creates a little place that encircles the experience of the heart but maintains its outward feeling. It's really going to continue to trace the triangle, and that triangle is going to come from above and basically close right below the coccyx. So the pelvic cavity and the torso, most of the torso, not all, is encompassed within this other triangle, this upwardly mobile triangle. I'll show you that triangle again in a minute, but just to get familiar with the experience of that posture all the way down. So you hold this one for, usually I hold this one just a few seconds, no more than like 5 seconds, just to appreciate this alignment to my own heart. And then I allow my hands to move and now make the triangle of the overlapping triangle, meaning that there are 2 triangles merging at the heart, one from above, one from below. The one from below goes all the way up to the top of the head and goes down. The one from above, just below the heart and goes up. So the one in the third posture, let me show you the third one. This is, in this case, the fingers are straight, the fingers are closed, the thumbs are together, and the hands are very much sharp. Now, this third posture changes completely the experience that you're involved in, because this is involved in the acknowledgement and appreciation of all of the earth elements, which is all of the minerals, plants, animals, if you will, all of the vibrational frequencies, all the auditory, all of the sensations of the physical body, smell and taste and touch, all of those are involved in position number 3. Position number 3 also is engaged in my free will. This is where I'm now responsible for what I eat, what I do, what I act upon, my attitudes toward nature, my feelings about life. This is where the energy is my responsibility. Now, in this place, there are many different things I can do. I can feel the mineral kingdom in all their different varieties. I can feel the plant kingdom. I can feel, let me just show you another little graphic on that. I might use this kind of a graphic that shows the mineral kingdom, the plant kingdom, and the animal kingdom. And it's an acknowledgement of I have a relationship to matter. I have a relationship and a opportunity. I have a duty to be respectful and appreciative of the mineral kingdom and the plant kingdom and the animal kingdom. These are the forces that make up my physical body. These are the things I need to have a voluntary free will action toward. In this realm of the third posture, it is the busiest posture because I use my mind. The mind operates in the realm of vibration and duality. The mind really doesn't operate when it comes to posture number one. That's the heart and above. The heart and above is beyond the mind. We can begin to access it by training the mind to allow that experience to occur. But when it comes down to posture number three, we're engaged in feeling and imagination and focus and repetition and practice and responsibility and opportunity. It is a dynamic world where I can energetically involve my body by my free will. Everything I do is my free will with my body here. So if I take this third posture, I can do it in so many different ways. But one of the primary ways where I would suggest that you consider it is how to be able to take this energy and begin to align it to the spine. Just consider that when you're doing it. Now you have such wide range of what you can do. I'm going to feed you a series of experiments that you might try. I've tried all of these, by the way, and I still like to. I still do. So that's posture number three. Let me take you to posture number four, which is a relatively easy, simple way to end. Posture number four is primarily the interface of things that are horizontal. We've done the energy from above and the energy from below. We've done the 45-degree triangle. Now we have the triangle from above or the triangle from below, and we go up to the heart. We have that which has come from above and that which comes from below. But it's also experienced by the horizontal flow. The horizontal flow is the electromagnetic. The horizontal flow is also the equinox. The vertical flow is the solstice. Extremes of day lengths on opposite sides of the world. The equinox is the experience of the equilibrium or the balance between all four forces. Yes, I know that's a lot. Doesn't take a lot of time to do this. It does take a little bit of a commitment to learn the individual ingredients and just simply practice them. But just when you thought you were done, no, we're going to look at your feet. Let me show you there is a position for the feet that maximizes the effectiveness of the four postures. Let me show you. One of the parts of the postures is that there is an absolute precision or the sacred geometry in how every molecule combines with another molecule. And literally, there is a series of shapes and forms, the whole sacred geometry of rhythms of shape and music and so on. These are all about the fingers and the hands and where they lead to and the alignment of the spine. All of this goes down to the feet. And just like any other posture, the placement of your feet in the process of doing the postures does make a difference. And it is basically a little bit awkward for a beginner, but it's quite precise, meaning there is an individual distance between the 2 feet that is essential for the process to be able to be more fully integrated. So you start by standing on your left foot. That's image number 1. And you take the heel of your right foot and you put it just inside the ball of your left foot at a 90-degree angle. You just have to put it in there snugly, not right on the ball of the foot, but just behind it, snugly at 90 degrees. Then if you lift up your heel and you lift up your big toe on your right foot simultaneously, and you turn on the inside of the ball of your right foot, image number 2 and 3, you turn, now you'll have the ideal distance between your feet. Now, if you do this correctly, your toes will be even. If your toes are not even, I mean even forward and back, that they're basically a straight line on your toes, if your toes are even, you have the right distance after you've done this process. Now, in order to increase your ability to hold the energy, you move both of your big toes in approximately half the width of your toe. So you move it into a slightly pigeon-toed shape, slightly inward. This inward posture is a little bit awkward to start with, but it is a holding posture of energy. If your feet are too far out, it's an energy releasing function. So if they're just slightly inward while you're doing the process, you hold them in this posture the entire time and they don't move. During this time period, you experience your feet as being on the earth, but you'll notice in the diagram I'll show you that you'll have your feeling extending into the earth. This is a process of being able to extend your imagination and your attention and to feel the experience of the vitality of the earth that comes from below. You would extend it no more, at the start, no more than about 1 meter to 1.5 meters below your feet. Now, this is where the feet will be the entire time. Now, during this time, you should have your knees unlocked. The easiest way to do that is to go ahead and lock your knees and then just barely move out of a lock. You can move a little or you can move a lot. If you want to increase the experience, then if you look down, the ends of your feet would match the end of your bended knees. Now, that's not an easy posture to hold, but that's the one I like to use. So if you lock your knees and you just unlock your knees, that's enough. If you go just a little forward, then look down, look at the end of your knees and measure them. They drop and they measure to the end of your toes. You look down and you barely see the tips of your toes, but your knee extends all the way to the length of the foot. This is the posturing of the feet. Yes, I know it sounds like a lot, but just give it an experience and see how you do. Pretty soon it becomes second nature. Whenever I do this, I typically stand on my left foot, and within 2 seconds, I just do the whole thing. I get my alignment, bend my knees, and then go up into the first posture. You can hold the first posture for 5 seconds, 10 seconds, a little more if you want, and then trace it down to the second position, just at the heart. Then you recognize where that triangle is going to go. You take the third posture straight down at 45 degrees, and your fingers now are straight, and your fingers are closed. So there's no gaps between them because this is a gathering energy. This is a force. Now you start to engage your own mind. The mind is an instrument of imagination. You can visualize, you can feel, you can do colors, You can do any of the frequencies you want. You can even incorporate music if you wanted to. And later on, I'll have some suggestions about what to do with that. That's posture number 3. Number 4 is now you bring them back up. You acknowledge the flow that came from above, and you acknowledge the one that came from below. And now you're going to just softly acknowledge the oneness in your own heart. And if you want, you can take a slow or sharp inhale through the nose in one breath. Done. The whole process might take 15 seconds. It might take 30 seconds. Now you want to be able to put that in a 2-hour time period and go about your business. Ideally, I would have a timer for you, which is in creation, where if you choose, you can have a little prompt every 2 hours to remind you, and you can keep moving it all the way through. This is an introduction to postures. Now, the postures are part of the threefold program of using postures, cycles and seasons, and also protocol. Doing this all together as a group of 25 to 33. And there's a reason why 25, because 25 is a number for the heart that we won't go into. 33 is a number for mastery, or it's an outer boundary of a group, 33. It's also relative to a generation and a few other things. But that number 33, we'd like to be able that the group doesn't go below 25. So one of the other parts of the criteria is if for any personal reasons that you don't need to have to explain, you decide you can't continue once you've joined, you just have to be transparent enough to let us know so that we could take you out of the group so that we know that you're no longer involved. So just let us know. And if you want to come back into another group, you can. If you want to participate in up to 3 groups, you can. But for now, the limit would be 3 groups. Later on, it may not be after a year or 2. So that's where we are. This is the Rayid introduction to the new program number 2. So we'll have another explanation coming up on the new program for Rayid number 3. Talk to you soon.